Test 1, 2. Are we still waiting? Have you just taken a photo?
No, I'm doing the video.
Right.
Recording. Have you got your face on?
No. Do I need one on?
Right. So, welcome to the 7th day of training in the apocalypse with the 4 horsemen. We decided to do something a little bit different today. And instead of actually doing something along the lines of like training or cardio or stretching, we're just going to give you some complete knowledge bombs, which may actually turn out to be complete and utter shite. But if you enjoy them, then fabulous. If you don't enjoy them, then tell us and we won't do them again. Simple as. So as you all know, you know me, I am the Tiny Titan, as always, one of the podcast, the podcast hosts on Don't Fear the Wait. And this is the husband, Scott.
Hi guys.
Tiny Titan's husband. But just a little bit about Scott, if nobody actually did know who he was, or who he is. At the moment, he's not very interesting.
There's nobody.
No.
Pretends to be a photographer.
He does pretend to be a photographer. He is a very good photographer. So he's very talented in that side of things. But in a past life, he was a British gymnast. And a very good one.
Time ago.
A very, very good one. He was British champion on the rings as well. And this is where we wanted to just basically have a little bit of a conversation, especially because of the climate that we're in at the moment. We're on lockdown. We can't have access to things like leg presses or big, huge Viking presses and that kind of thing. And this is where Scott really comes into his own in terms of his aspect of Titan coaching and what he can bring to the business. So, if you just talk about a little bit what you used to do as a gymnast and that kind of thing, and then we can delve into that.
From there, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I started training gymnastics when I was like 6 years old. And I was quickly selected for a squad, so I was then training 3-4 times a week. And literally everything that we used to do was bodyweight conditioning. Did a hell of a lot of sit-ups, hell of a lot of press-ups. Climbing ropes and that kind of thing. And basically by the time I was like 8 or 9, I got a killer six-pack and was looking jacked. You know, our son was exactly the same. He was a gymnast when he was younger, picked into squads, and just the body weight conditioning that you guys do for training, you just look immense. So now, obviously, like we said, we're all in lockdown. There is no big gym equipment that you can get hold of. So we come up with programs, and it basically just goes back to what I was doing years and years ago. I never started lifting weights until I was 18, 19 when I was living at the National Sports Centre. And then we got an S&C coach in, Nick Grantham, and he did all of our programming for weights. And we did 2-3 sessions a week at the most on top of our other conditioning. So everything else was just body weight. I was big. I was huge at the one point. I had no neck, massive. Nothing. I was absolutely massive. I've lost so much now through not doing it for 15, 20, 25 years.
No, it's not that long.
No, I'm not that old.
You are that old, but you haven't been doing it for that long. I mean, when we first met, we're talking, like 15 years ago?
Yeah.
That's a long fucking
it's a long
time.
To be doing nothing.
We're so old. So you were still doing some bits.
I was coaching at that point. So whilst I was coaching, I basically I made the kids do what I did. So I joined in with their conditioning. And that kept me fit. It was good. And then I do little bits on top of that and do some lifts to handstand and things like that the kids weren't able to do, or that kind of stuff. So I'd do extras myself. But that was once a week maybe. So at that point I was still big. Because I was still keeping fit. I was still doing stuff. And then after that I just got lazy. Couldn't
comfortable.
Do it. Yeah. We got very comfortable, didn't we?
Comfortable. It was funny, actually, looking back 15 years ago, we were complete polar opposites, weren't we? Because I was fat.
You weren't fat.
Excuse me, I was a dumpy potato. There is a story behind that. There is a story behind dumpy potato, which maybe one day we will reveal, but I'm not going to do it today. I'm not ready. But, basically, he called me Humpty Dumpty as well.
You were pregnant at the time.
I was. I was pregnant with his son.
Really old computer game.
I was pregnant with his son, and he called me Humpty Dumpty. Now that is not fun.
I admit, I'm sorry. I apologise for that one. That was not the right thing to say.
No, at all. He didn't get laid for like a week.
No.
Anyway, moving
Oh,
on.
to be back to those days.
Hey.
Different story.
But yeah, so 15 years ago we were complete polar opposites. So I was fat. I was short and dumpy. I'm still short. But Scott was massive. His lats were huge, and it was purely down to the way that he looked. I was very shallow back then, and purely down to the way that he looked that I thought, I'm gonna need to have some of that, and that is what happened. And yeah, over 15 years later, that's where we are.
Love comes second.
Exactly.
But still here.
Exactly. Still here, still ticking away. But yeah, so that's basically what you used to do. Now, your weight-bearing exercises in terms of picking up dumbbells and getting into strength and conditioning, how long were your sessions that you were doing?
Not that long, to be fair, because we did it as part of the training schedule that we did. So essentially, we would do conditioning in the morning from 7 o'clock. We'd do that for an hour and a half at the most. We then went and had breakfast, got back into the gym, and we were in there from 10 till 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then back in the gym again at 4 till 6:30, 7. So we were training absolutely loads. So our conditioning time was done. It either replaced one of the morning sessions, so it was an hour and a half at the most, or we'd do it after we'd finished, and again it was an hour at max. So we weren't in the gym. We'd do probably 3 hours a week of resistance training.
So why was it so important then? Why did it come to the point where Nick thought that SNC,
Be careful.
S&C was going to be complementary to your gymnastics?
It was just, we had a cracking team of people at the National Sports Centre. So we had full physios, S&C coaches, and that kind of stuff. So it was just as a way of bringing in to actually complement. We were able to, I wouldn't say lift more, but you could overload a bit more than we could in the gym. We would do rope climbs, and again, you do this body weight. How do you get that harder? First thing, you go fast up and then really slow on the way down, and they still use that in the circuit today, and it looks really cool. Very impressive if you can do it. And then you put a weight belt on, so you load yourself up. You then put weight vests and stuff. I mean, the guys these days use the vests and stuff because we didn't have those. We actually had a weightlifting belt that we black taped lead weights to and strapped it to it. That went on, and that was your friend. You got to know that weight, and again, you end up doing 3 rope climbs in a row, and it's getting too easy at this point. So it's more to the point doing things like cross, everybody knows, but Maltese inverted cross and that kind of stuff. How do you train that repeatedly without injuries to the elbows and stuff, and just really hammering the shoulders? So this is where the S&C training, we then got resistance programs to complement what we were doing in the gym. So a lot of the exercises you wouldn't even recognise because Nick was very good. He took what we did in the gym and then he modified it. So instead of doing lateral raises and chest flies and things like that, we did them in 3 different planes. So we would do your normal chest fly, and then it would come down in that plane, and then we'd come over and that kind of stuff. And then we would bolt upright doing flies that way because that was the inverted cross. So all of these things weren't necessarily traditional bodybuilding style exercises. They were modifications to help and build on what we did. And
you were extremely flexible and mobile at that point as well.
Yeah, completely. I mean, hypermobile is realistically what you have to be as a gymnast. You've got to be able to do certain things. You're asking your body to do stupid things, and you need that kind of flexibility. So I suppose actually the weight training probably helped with that in terms of reducing the flexibility a little bit and helping to strengthen the tendons rather than just being too flexible.
And that's what we found quite a lot, isn't it, with people who come to us, the athletes that come to us when they are bodybuilders. They physically can't move. And sometimes when we just ask them to do something along the lines of like a 90-degree hip flexion, they can't do it. And it's like, wow, your hip flexors are horrible. So we have to do quite a lot of work in terms of conditioning to get those hip flexors a little bit better. And that's the whole point about our programming in terms of the Titan hybrid kind of programming that we do. We do ensure that you are flexible, that you are mobile, but that you are strong and that you can look bloody good. And you can do some impressive shit in the bars when people dare you to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you kind of have a couple of bevies and that kind of thing, not that I'm saying that, we could advocate drinking or anything, but...
Not that we do that anymore anyway.
We don't, seriously.
Can't do it anymore.
It
hurts. It hurts now.
It's not fun.
No.
But when you do that, and you can just kind of say, do you know what, why don't you do this? You know all those like flicky up coaster games that you used to do and say, that's not impressive anymore. That's like old and by the by, and that's something that bodybuilders do because they can't stand on their head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or lie on your stomach and then lift your heels over your head and press up to handstand. That just looks really cool.
That was very cool. Did that once in a bar. Or go down into splits on the dance floor. That was quite good until you tripped over somebody.
I tripped somebody over and she smacked her head on the floor.
She didn't smack her head on the floor.
Well, she reckoned she did.
Well, she was rubbish.
She was fine.
She just went down on a bomb. And it was like, love, get up. You're just stupid.
It was quite amusing.
It was. I thought it was very funny. But yeah, so this is what we're trying to obviously get our point across in terms of like at-home training. Everyone's just trying to look for that secret training program that you can do with dumbbells or with resistance bands or with ab wheels or something like that, where in actual fact, the best piece of resistance exercise that you can use is your own body. And we've put a few of these things up recently over on the Instagrams and on the Instagrams, so old, they're on the line, but everywhere in terms of like socials, we've given these kind of things. But if you want to do a barbell overhead press and you don't have a barbell, or even if you've got a little barbell but isn't enough to overload it, how much do you weigh? I weigh 52 kilos. Now, there's no way that I can strict press 52 kilos over my head, although I'm getting there. That was exciting. 1 rep max PB in my home gym. Whoop! But yeah, there's no way that I can physically strict press 52 kilos over my head, but I can handstand press up. Now, if I do a full handstand press up, yes, okay, at the moment my feet are still against the wall. He's laughing at me. Because he can do it, obviously, like freestanding. I don't know if you can anymore.
I think the balance is gone.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. We'd try it. Not now.
Oh, we should.
No.
We should try it. Do it now. Guys, if you're listening to this on radio or iTunes. Radio? I could be on radio.
On the wireless.
On the wireless. Rather than actually seeing the YouTube video, you're missing out. He is going to do a handstand right now. You watch everybody now just like Scarpa to YouTube. Yeah. Pause. 12 minutes, 36 seconds. That's where he's going to do it.
Yeah. We'll get an old clip. I'll splice it in after.
You could splice.
Yeah.
He's quite good at that kind of thing. But yeah, so you can use your body weight and actually just make it work for you. So one of the hardest things that we have people doing at the moment is isometric holds. They're disgusting.
It's simple. It's stupidly simple.
Yeah.
But I mean, even just lifting your leg as high as you can and holding it. Your ballet dancers do this all the time. They've got phenomenal legs. I mean, we've had this discussion. You can't overload it. You can't do this, and it's like, well, actually, do you need to? We've decided that actually you probably do need to do that to get a quick change. You know, again, I looked absolutely massive when I was 18. I looked phenomenal. I've been doing it for a really long time. So that's the thing. To get a faster result, yes, you probably need to do the resistance weights and stuff like that. But
as well.
Yeah, as well as
a complementary. But you don't just have to do that.
It's probably better not to. You're less likely to injure yourself.
Well, I don't know, handstand press-ups.
Yeah, but again, if you can't hold yourself up on your hands, we modify it. You do it different. We do it as an L stand, so you get your feet on a bench, or the sofa, or a chair, whatever you've got to hand. And then you slow down, you know? I mean, even if you can't press back up, just holding the weight on your hands, that's the first step.
Yeah.
You know, just pushing tall, shrugging, shoulder shrugs.
Yeah.
Yeah? Then you start to slowly lower. Or you then go the other way and you start on your head, in the headstand, and you try and press up. Again, isometric contraction. If you can't press your head off the floor, just pressing, giving it everything you've got, that's going to work. You know, you're going to get stronger. I never forget, actually, I had spinal surgery, so I was out of training for about 7 months. Went back in, and I was conditioning a little bit during that time, but not a lot. Went back in, started conditioning heavy, and I'd never been able to cross. I could cross, but I could never press out of it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I managed to start doing it, and I was pressing and pressing and pressing. I was trying for weeks and not getting anywhere. And then all of a sudden, one day, it just started to get up and up and up, and I got there, and I got up, and I was so happy. And then it was literally a case, yeah, I can do 5 reps of this. Once you've done it once, that's it. You can do it. It's easy.
Yeah,
you know you can do it. You just then have to keep repeating and repeating.
Well, that's it. That's what we were talking about in terms of like my bench press. Now, my bench press is literally just like one press. I prefer to do more practice reps rather than jumping up in 5 kilos all the time, because I haven't got that practice of putting that bar in my hands, dragging it to my chest and pressing it back off. So if I want to do like 3 heavy singles at 70, for example, my first 70 looks shit. My second one moves a little bit better, but I've probably got a bit of a shoulder flare at that point. Elbows go a bit shitty and that kind of thing, but it still moves and it still gets up and it's still a white line. But then the third rep, it just moves piece of piss. And it's like, what the hell's that about? It's just ridiculous. It's like today when we were doing strict press. I've never, ever, ever managed to press 40 kilos over my head, ever. And today we were doing it in a pyramid type style. So we were aiming for like 8 reps, then 6 reps, then 2 sets of 4 or 2 sets of 2 triples, 1 double, and then your 1 rep max. So that's what we were doing today. And then all of a sudden I picked up 40 kilos and it just moved for like 8. I was like, what happened? Just what happened? And then 45 moved, and 45 moved for a double.
They did.
And that was very cool. And then I'm like, am I going to take the piss and to go any higher? So 46. And
so we did.
We did.
Yeah.
We did 46. And 46 kilos was a strict press straight above my head. And I was very, very happy.
And it moved easy. It went up. It was a little bit slow, but it went up. It was dead easy. You surprised yourself. And she's like, what do I do now?
Yeah, I was holding it up here like an isometric hold.
Okay, let's just do it again.
Let's just go again. And then it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It hit my chest. It got off the chest, and then it stopped. Which is what happens on my bench press.
Yeah.
But there are so many things now that we're putting into place in terms of strengthening that shoulder joint, because my shoulder's like completely daffy ducked anyway. And there's lots of things that we are doing in terms of body weight conditioning and opening up the chest, and a lot of stretching. I am doing my stretching, Mr. Peel. It's a good job that he doesn't watch these. But yeah, Chris at the Move Well Project, he is an amazing superstar, and he helps me out with all of my programming in terms of like rehabilitation for my shoulder, because it is a bit daft. It's a daft shoulder. That's what I'm going to call it. It's just a daft, stupid shoulder. But yeah, so we do a lot of that. But along the same lines, we have to make sure that all of the ligaments, all of the tendons, everything is flexible, because bodybuilders and powerlifters always work in one plane. They always work in one plane, and I don't know why. When I was competing for the Ultimate Athlete, I did fucking everything. And when I say I did everything, I literally did everything. And this last week, I've just brought in my hybrid training as well that I do for my personal clients who are complete Titan hybrids. And I've started doing that this week. And I said to you today, oh my God. I was like, why the hell do I program this shit for my clients? But this is the reason why they look jacked. And they do, they're strong as hell. This is one of the biggest things that I say about all of our clients who are hybrids, because they just look jacked. They're jacked, they're strong, they feel brilliant. They move well. They're never in pain. They eat a crap ton of food. I mean, I eat a crap ton of food as well.
She's just a freak.
Or a fatty. I am an inner fatty.
Yeah. You swallowed your inner fatty.
I did, and digested it.
You did.
It took me 10 years to digest it, but it's gone now.
You look cracking.
I look alright.
You look phenomenal.
I look alright. But yeah, they do eat a crap ton of food. They're never restricted. They've really got a very good relationship with food, and they're just happy and move around. But they do all this kind of shit. They do body weight exercises. They do AMRAPs. They do thrusters and things like that. And I do just want to kind of get it out there. It is not CrossFit. We do not do CrossFit. That is not.
Just dangerous. Mm-hmm. It hurts.
We don't do no Olympic lifting, because I'm not an Olympic lifting coach. So quite honestly, it would be stupid of me to program Olympic lifts. That's another thing that we were kind of going to talk about, wasn't it? Just like getting involved with coaches who actually know what they're talking about.
Always a good tip.
Yeah. So if you want to be a powerlifter, don't go to a bodybuilding coach because they won't know how the fuck to program you as a powerlifter. Now,
And vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a powerlifting coach and you have somebody who says, "Dude, I just want to get jacked," you cannot do that following a powerlifting program. You just can't. Unless if it is a pure standard powerlifting program, you will not get jacked on that. Look at the teeny tiny people who weigh 52 kilos. Ignore me because I'm jacked, I know that. But I'm a hybrid. But look at the people who weigh 47, 52, even 57 kilo people. The majority of them out there are not jacked. They've just got this like freakishly absurd strength that they...
Yeah, they're just unbelievably strong. You just give them a weight and say, lift that, and they do.
Yeah, they walk up to it.
Crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do this.
But the majority of them aren't jacked because all they end up doing is lifting in one plane. And if you actually think about things working in different planes, so like Scott was just talking about, doing a lateral raise, but not just in a lateral format, but you do it in front and diagonal, 45 degrees and behind your head, and all of a sudden this entire range of movement is going... God, did you see that? That shoulder movement is cracking.
Awesome.
Wow.
That was shockingly bad. That didn't even go above.
I did that on purpose. I can move my shoulders. But yeah, it is really, really important. It's very, very important that you take this on board, and especially because we are all on lockdown. There's so many different things that you want to... I mean, let's have a look at it in terms of like overloading your legs. Let's have a look at your leg training. What did you used to do? He had chicken legs because he was a ringmaster.
I still have chicken legs. All gymnasts have chicken legs. There are few and far between that have good legs.
I don't know. I've seen some girls who are like, floor masters, and they've got big legs.
Yeah. There's one or two, but the leg
girls
training
base.
that we did, the leg training that we did, it had to be functional. We were trying to jump, that was it, and run fast. And even you don't even need to run fast for vault.
I've seen some of them run.
They do, yeah, but it's not a sprint. If you sprint and then try and jump on a board, you haven't got a clue. You just hit the vault.
Dragolescu used to run bloody fast though.
Yeah, but again, you don't start that quick. It's a pace slow increase. You don't start. It's not a 100-meter sprint.
No.
Or even 25 because that's the length of the vault run. But you don't sprint for that full time. You're trying to accelerate to the board. So you start off controlled, and then when you worked out which foot you're actually going to hit, you then start speeding up. But yeah, you've got to jump. That's what your legs are there for. That was it. And you were there for tumbling. But they didn't need to be big to do that. As long as you could jump, that was okay. I mean, if I squat, again, for an actual jump, if the lower you get in a squat, the harder it is to actually jump. You can't do it. It just doesn't work. So from that point of view, you don't need to squat. You don't need the depth. You just need a small rebound. And I think that's the point. It isn't actually static jumping as high as you can. It's a rebound that you needed. So it was more technique rather than strength for that. And that was the reason why we didn't really need legs.
But that's the reason why we program plyometrics.
Yeah. Again, that's the thing. It's a functional movement. You need to be functional when you're doing it. You need to be able to run away from the zombies that are attacking you. You need to be able to clear the building as you're running away from them and climb over the fence. The
reason why we brought that up is because the Titan Hybrid program is basically, the tagline is train for the apocalypse. So train for beating the zombies,
This is the
and
apocalypse.
Now it's here. We're on day 7. Exactly, we're on day 7 of the apocalypse, and this is the reason why hybrid training works so well. But we do program plyometrics, and one of the most sickest things that I do, just as an example for it realistically, is a drop set frog jump.
Yeah.
That's minging. So basically you're holding, this is something that I want everybody to try at home. So you're holding some dumbbells and you basically do jump squats. You cannot do a lot of them. And then as soon as you basically fail, you lose that velocity from that big power movement, drop the dumbbells, go again until failure. Now you do that, and then at the beginning of the week, later on in the week, that's when I'm programming you your barbell back squats. Guess what? Those barbell back squats are going to move really nicely. So don't start off too light, because otherwise you're just going to jump And that's not fun.
No.
That is not fun. But it is. It's that. But on that first week that you start on hybrid training or zombie training, it's this. I think we should. I think we should. Training for the apocalypse. It's so much fun. But it is, and it's the crossover effect of it is absolutely amazing because all of those plyometrics do help with your heavier lifts. Yeah. You know, and it's the same with bench press. Push-up claps or clapping push-ups. The push-up clap is horrible. You have to push up and it's a big, huge plyometric move, clap, and then obviously put your hands down before you face plant. That doesn't happen.
Then you press up, clap in front, behind, in the front, and then...
Oh, he just shows off when he does that. And it's like he does everything in the Matrix. He tried to get the kids to do it, right, when he was covering for like really summer things. And these kids were like going, and then falling face planting, and I was just laughing. And then when he did it in such a slow motion. It was up, and he went a clap, and come down, pick my nose, scratch my arse, and then I've come back down onto it without face planting. And it was just like, yeah, all right, show off. But again, these are the kind of things that happen. And one of the biggest things as well from this is that Scott doesn't need to train a lot. He should. But he doesn't.
More than I do. That's for sure.
But he doesn't need to train a lot very, very frequently because the way that he comes back, a week in the gym, and then all of a sudden it's like he'll take his shirt off and I'm like, what the fuck? You're eating cheesecakes and you're back in the gym.
Cheesecake that. It's a game changer.
It's so annoying, and within a week, you know, he's shredded and full again. And the thing is, as well, it's really bad because obviously we
advocate healthy eating.
Advocate it, and I'm like, you know, solid nutritionist, sports performance registered, and I am solid on nutrition with absolutely everybody. And I am going to keep on saying that because I am boasting my own trumpet. Beforehand, I was like, it was one of those things where I first started off in terms of sports performance nutrition. And I used to think, shit, do I actually really know what I'm doing? And then over the years, when I've created athletes who are now podium winners, and I'm not just talking about bodybuilders or powerlifters, I'm talking about athletes. So people who are squash players, who are becoming, you know, top 10 in the world. And I'm programming their nutrition. And it's just like, do you know what? Yeah, I do know what the fuck I'm doing. So I am solid on nutrition. And him, he don't give a shit.
I just ignore it completely. I try and do that as much as I can anyway.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, to be fair, when you program my food, I look good. Oh. I got back into shape, which was cool because I really needed to.
And then he had a really, really, really bad operation that went wrong.
We don't need to.
I'm not going to bring it up. I'm just going to say it was an operation that went wrong.
But and then he went off, and I didn't eat properly or train or do anything.
To be fair, he nearly died. I did give him leeway for that. It's like, brink of death, you don't really need to train.
No.
And if you want a chocolate, it's fine. He was having chocolate anyway.
Of chocolate, though.
No, you didn't really.
No, to be fair, I think that's the one thing. When I don't train, I don't tend to eat as much. I don't go overboard anyway.
You don't eat as much volume.
No, yeah, I eat more crap.
You eat more crap.
Yeah, I get all my calories from crisps. Crisps for life.
Crisps and cookies.
Cookies. Yeah, but no, I don't eat. I don't overeat. I suppose I think is what I'm trying to say. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, so no, I don't go ridiculous.
One slice of cheesecake is like 500 calories, and he has 2 slices.
Very rare. I haven't had cheesecake in ages. I'm going to shop in a minute. We need milk. I could get cheesecake.
Anyway.
But yeah, either way. But yeah, so no, I don't think I go overboard. Even when I was fat and we were drinking lots of wine and having takeouts every week.
That never happened.
It was great. But yes, but even when we were doing that, I was never massive. I was just uncomfortably big for myself. You know, I got into a size 32 pair of jeans and that was it.
You did have a round face.
I did. I had a round belly too. I still have the belly. I can't get rid of that. That's the cheesecake.
That is the cheesecake.
But yeah, what were we talking about?
I don't know. Talking about the crossover of gymnastics and functional movement and how it actually helps your strength and makes you look jacked.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. You don't... If you train bench every day, yeah, you're going to get stronger at it. But if you actually take a little bit of time off that, do more functional, do lift weights, but incorporate your press-up claps, your plyometrics, resistance bands, wall walks, isometric contractions, moving your own body, you know, handstand dips, moving stuff in a different plane. All of a sudden you go back to your bench press, crap, you can increase that. And it does. It works.
Well, that's it. I mean, I haven't got any dumbbells at home, so I have to use a barbell. And I haven't done a barbell overhead press in a very long time. I mean, we're talking like over 12, 14 months, a very long time. And all of a sudden today, I've lifted over... The highest I ever got for my strict press was... It must have been 37 and a half, 38.
So it's almost 10 kilos heavier you lifted today.
And I haven't done that overhead press.
And
it's
that was
ridiculous.
after a pyramid set.
And that was after a pyramid set. So I was fatigued anyway. And that was after my barbell rows and everything else.
Almost last exercise.
Yeah, so I was really fatigued. But what I have been doing is I have been doing handstand press-ups. I have been doing wall walks. I have been doing other bits of functional work in that regard. So people who just to say, you know, if you want to look like a bodybuilder, train like a bodybuilder. Yeah, absolutely. You do need to train like a bodybuilder. You can't train like a powerlifter if you want to look like a bodybuilder. But there are also lots and lots and lots of different ways to train to look jacked.
To build a body.
To build a body. And to run away from the zombies.
More than one way.
Which apparently is going to happen in the next 34 days.
It's very specific.
I know people on the inside. To finish up for day 7 of the training in the apocalypse, what we're going to end on is if you do not have a home gym, if you do not have a barbell, if you do not have dumbbells or resistance bands or these fancy cuffs or chains or whips or a dungeon of peace.
We've got the red room.
It's not red.
Sorry. Chili red wine.
Exactly. But if you don't have any of those things, don't panic. Okay, don't just kind of think, oh my God, I'm going to lose all my gains. Because there are so many other things that you can do with your body. And I dare you to try it. I really do.
You will hurt.
You will hurt.
Especially
I'm ruined.
if you've never done it before, you will hurt. It is going to take it out of you.
Just the isometric contractions. Just lift your leg up with a pointed toe and just make sure that you contract your quad and hold it for 15 seconds. And you tell me that don't fucking hurt.
And then do it to the side.
And then the back.
And then the back. To the side again. To the front.
That's 1.
And repeat.
Do it 4 times. Each leg.
Give it a go.
And then you can tell him that he's a bastard. Because he programs those.
That was really bad. I even told, I must have been 4 people to do it with a band. I'm sorry. That's just mean.
He's not. And I have to say, right, we do test all of these. We do test all of these movements. And we test all of the exercises.
When I was coaching, I used to teach under 5s. And I would never program them anything that I didn't already try. It was brilliant. I had so much fun.
Teddy bear rolls.
But we had to do it. You know, if I couldn't do it, then there was no way that a 3-year-old would do it.
Exactly.
So we had to try it out, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, we do. We try these things out. It hurts.
It does.
It hurts us. So we just then say, right, well, you're...
Yeah, you can do it then. But no, it's not. It is also, we do have to look at the recovery elements as well, you know, and this is the whole reason why we test out these kind of things, because at the moment, because we're obviously in this lockdown thing, I've got my own Titan group on Facebook where all of my clients are there. And just for a little bit of camaraderie and a little bit of competition, I put up a challenge every day. And it depends on what it is, but it might be an isometric contraction challenge, or it might be a WOD, or it might be, an AMRAP or something like that. But we all do. And there was one that I tested out, because I always do mine the day before and give them the benchmark. So it's like I did 6 rounds in 6 minutes or something along those lines. And there was one that I tested out and I'm like, I'm not giving that to them. And I just cannot do it. So we're not massive arses.
Just slightly sadistic.
But they are good fun. So do give these kind of things a go. Do get out of your comfort zone. Try a strict handstand press up. And I'm not
Don't
talking
be afraid
about...
to fail.
No, exactly.
No,
fail it out.
If you can't do it, that's fine.
Put a pillow underneath you.
Yeah, cushions, good.
Pillow.
But yeah, if you can't do it, even just holding that isometric contraction, trying to press, you will get stronger. You know, keep doing it, keep practicing, but don't be afraid to fail.
So we'll do a video on a handstand press up then, and the variations.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you've got to start slow.
So we'll put that up there for you guys to obviously have a look at. That will be our video for tomorrow, for day 8 of training in the apocalypse. And then you will all be able... You
actually said it.
What did I say?
Apocalypse.
I can say apocalypse.
Very rarely.
Very rarely.
Very rarely.
All right, Elmer Fuds. See, you're taking the piss out of me, and he says it himself. Big loves. See you for day 8.
Take care, guys.